Shortly, the Jewish community will be celebrating the festival of Passover. Passover is one of the most important and evocative of Jewish festivals. It celebrates and commemorates the exodus of the ancient Israelites from slavery under the pharaohs. The story is told in great, vivid detail in the biblical book of Exodus. Moses, who encounters God, gains the courage to confront Pharaoh and demand that he let the Israelites go free. And after much argument and reluctance, Pharaoh ultimately caves. Moses leads the ancient Israelites out of Egypt into the wilderness, where they encounter God at Mount Sinai, receive the Torah, the divine law, and then for 40 years, Moses leads the Israelites through the desert to the very, very border of the Promised Land. Passover then really is a festival of redemption and birth of the Jewish people, which goes some way to explaining why it always falls in springtime against the backdrop of rebirth and renewal. One of the interesting things about this festival is that unlike other Jewish festivals, its ritual is focused not in the synagogue, but at home. The most important Passover ritual is known as the Seder. It's an evening meal around a dining room table with family and friends. It's not really a meal. It's more than a meal. It is a highly ritualized reenactment of slavery and redemption. It lasts hours, and it involves eating special foods, reciting various passages and prayers, engaging in reenactments, and mostly it involves that great Jewish pastime of arguing over meaning. What do these stories mean for us today? So for the Jewish people, Passover is extremely important. But does it have a broader message, a universal message for those of other faiths or of no faith? I think it does. You see, because the liberation of the ancient Israelites from Egypt means much more than just the liberation of a particular people from a particular geographical location at a particular point in time. I think Passover is about the liberation of the spirit. The Hebrew word for Egypt, Mitzrayim, is closely related to another Hebrew word, Meitzarim, which means restraints or limitations. And in that sense, we're all slaves of our own personal Meitzarim. We all have limitations. We all have these barriers that keep us from being who we were meant to be. The barriers can be self-imposed. They can be imposed by others. We all know what they are. Anger, resentment, addiction, disappointment, obsession. These are things that keep us back. Ignorance. And so Passover, against the backdrop of a renewed spring, is a time for all people to think about how we tend to be enslaved to our own minds, our own emotions, our own circumstances, and to draw inspiration and courage from the story of the Exodus, so that we too can confront these restrictions and we can break through and become who we really are. I want to wish you all a Chag Kasher v'Sameach, a joyous and kosher festival.